So from time to time, I like to go look at the pattern app and cross-reference it with that astrology app that I showed you guys last time, because I think that it's possible that timelines can be jumped and that things could always change given how people react. Because there's theoretically, we're supposed to have the concept of free will, and I wholeheartedly believe that. Because if we didn't have the concept of free will, then what would this whole fucking monkey dance and the charade be for? Like, we have to have free will for them to have to try so fucking hard to keep us enslaved and unawakened and all this bullshit. That's my 2 cents. So I don't think everything's predetermined. I think that every day you wake up, you make a decision. Every day you look on the bright side, you keep going, you are affecting the world. And yeah, that sounds like bullshit, but once you start reading all the stuff about the universe and stuff, and don't worry, I'll have a video about it soon. I found a lady on TikTok who very succinctly explained it. And I'm like, I'm just going to take her TikTok and just put it on and be like, we'll talk later. It's kind of like a substitute teacher who puts on the fucking video. It's like, all right, did that fuck you guys up? All right, I'll take some questions later at the end, but maybe tomorrow, not today's class. But I gotta wash my hair. I look disgusting right now. That's why you're like, oh, she's been posting herself on the podcast, and now today's not, because today is an ugly day. Today is like a day where I'm like, fuck, I need a shower. Like, it's not even like I want to shower at this point. It's like I need to shower. My aunt always asks me, goes, what day are you on? Because when you start coloring your hair and damaging it like the fucking I do, there's a price you pay, which is you don't get to wash your hair all the fucking time because it dries it the fuck out. Anyways, it gets crunchy and shit, and it's disgusting. It's so funny because men like don't understand this, because they're like, why would you damage your hair like that? Because it makes me feel bonita, bitch. Honestly, my uncle is like that, because he'll be up to my aunt and he'll be like, you need a shower today. It's too long. She's usually a day 7 or something, but it's like, well, you don't have beautiful fucking long hair like she does. And she also gave you 2 fucking babies. So like, she's not washing her hair because there's not a lot left of it because the babies took so much nutrients. I'm just saying. I feel like he shouldn't say shit. Anyways, that's just an aside. Because do you guys like my channel? Is this why you guys like me? Because I like just go on rants like that? And I'm too fucking lazy to edit it out later. So it's like, it's still here. But anyways, I don't know if the pattern app is just fucking with me sometimes, because I swear to God, it changes things. I had a friendship that I looked up one time and it said it was meaningful. And I thought, meaningful, that's okay. Meaningful is good. Meaningful, it is meaningful. Because, it was an important chapter in my life. Then I came back to the fucking app again a couple months later. I looked at the fucking bond again and it said, it's complex. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Complex means ongoing. Complex means that there's still some shit happening. And I'm like, I don't like that. I mean, sometimes it's my own fault. Like, I got my brother's birth time wrong by like an hour, and it turns out that changed everything. And I was like, oh fuck. I swear, I remember looking at Britney Spears' bond and mine. So basically, the pattern app does the same thing as the AI app, except they word it very beautifully. The AI app, no offense to fucking Nora, she was just like, yeah, that's the shit, bitch. And like, here's the 7 centitude and 3 degrees. And I don't fucking know. She was saying a lot of fucking shit. Like, I've never been one of those people who was like, hey, stop telling me how the sausage is made. I don't want to know. Until that fucking AI was like, and then I'm like, no, I don't care. I don't care about the degrees. Just tell me what it means. That's the most basic I've ever been. Like, I usually love learning, but I was like, there's too much math. Can you guys imagine? Imagine if like in a past lifetime, I was like super academic and like just like a fucking like mathematician. Can you imagine that person's like turning over? I mean, it's me, but like in their fucking grave or like their higher being fucking self. And they're like, bitch, math is math. And I'm like, math is hard. Because in this lifetime, I decided to come back with ADHD. I don't know why, but I regret not showering so I could make this video in person, because I'm like, some of this is funny, but I'm like, well, fuck it. I hope my voice carries it. Anyways, I don't remember some of this. I just remember I would tell people, I'm like, and I'm guys, if you guys were wondering if me and Britney Spears were fated to be friends, like if we met, yes, we would be friends. The pattern app said we would. Generally, I have a good feeling about people. I love the celebrity feature because I like guessing who I would get along with. And I have been pretty much always right. So people I love, like I love Issa Rae, who is the writer, the creator, and the starring person in Insecure. She's hilarious. And I put us together and they were like, it is a golden relationship. I'm like, I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. Then I put Tina Fey before I realized she was kind of racist. But they're like, it is golden. I'm like, we would make each other laugh so much. You know, and then I put like, I forgot who else I put. I think I put Billie Eilish and they're like, meaningful. I'm like, yeah, no, I feel like we're too similar. Like our emotions are high key always the same, that we'd be like, I'm feeling this. And then she'd be like, I'm feeling this too. And I'm like, oh, we're feeling too much together. I think it's just we would be what two anxious people would be like in a relationship, even though I don't think I'm anxiously attached anymore. But I feel like Billie would bring it out in me, even though she's so much younger. And I'd be like, Billie, you're so cool and so wise beyond your age. And I'm older, but I'm so confused. Yeah, it would be confusing. But I'm like, but we're both so lonely. We should be friends. We have the same pervasive sadness. You guys, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should like include all these bits. I'm like, you know what, bitch, you're not gonna fucking edit it. Like, fuck off. So if you hear that, and I said that, it's kind of funny. Anyways, I actually recorded a whole fucking segment after this shit, and I didn't realize that I fucking clicked on record. So wish me luck. I'm gonna try to recapture the magic. It was super authentic, and if this sounds rehearsed from here on out, because I'm trying to remember what I said. Yeah, okay. So I started by saying, so I'm looking at the pattern with Britney Spears again. I'm looking at the categories. So you can run your bond and they'll tell you like patterns that you guys would exhibit with each other if you were to meet or if you were to know each other. The eerie part is that it lines up with people I actually know. With my ex, actually, it lined up even to the dates that we broke up, that we had fights, that things went awry. Because they have these dates that are the cycles that you're supposed to be going through. And then they have these enhanced dates where they're like, but these are the peak dates. Like, you know, through the cycle, you can be going through some fuck shit. But then on like specifically that month of April, you can be going some fuck shit. And then you're like, oh shit. Actually, this is better now, me recording it. So yeah, one for the coconuts. Quick aside, I thought it would be funny to name myself Young Coconut if I was a rapper. It was not my DJ name, but because I had a rap in my head, you know, I would put, you know, the microphone in my face and be like, when I say Coco, you go nuts. Coco, nuts. And then, you know, you shout nuts. And I was like, damn, that shit's gonna be sick. Like, it's a joke. Like, I don't actually think so. But, you know, at that time, it was like, I think Akon was doing that. And like, now he's canceled. Everyone's canceled. You know what? They're all canceled. Everyone. But that's besides the point. I mean, at one time we had good memories. So, you know, it is what it is. Then, you know, this awakening that is spiritually happening around the world, to me, is akin to going to therapy. Because you go to therapy and you're like, hey, therapist, I'm happy to see you again. The therapist is like, oh, good to see you too. And then you're like, but am I? And then the therapist is like, what? You're like, I'm so glad we did all this work and that I'm so much more like woke and shit and like, you know, healthier. And they're like, yeah. All because of me. And you're like, yeah. But then again, do you ever think, therapist, that you have made me worse? I'm less ambitious because I'm no longer striving for that kind of validation. I'm kind of lazy now because the true essence of me is like, I don't want to do work. And you know what I mean? Like, the more you find out more about yourself, I don't know. I guess it's twofold. I like myself much more now than I've ever liked myself. The version of myself that I used to be does not like me. The ambitious, the come on, bitch, get your life together one. And I'm like, I'll do it later. So I always tell the therapist, I personally feel better. Like, I've never felt better my whole life. But on paper, I look like a fucking mess. Like, I would not date me. I would not befriend me. I'm like, that bitch is going through something. And I was, and I am. And that's what this whole spiritual fucking warfare thing feels like. Yeah, we know more, and like shit is fucked. And I guess we're all doing our fucking part, but like, Jesus, shit's fucked. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is some evil and good shit. This is some, I mean, I was not waiting for my life to become a sci-fi drama or a very preachy movie about good versus evil and ethical dilemmas. And here the fuck we are. I forgot why I went to the segment about why I still make content. But I guess, well, okay, I've been looking at the spirituality stuff a little bit more. And, oh, because I started reading the thing about me and Britney. And anyways, it was just saying, let me get to that. I'm sorry. Yeah. So our pattern is uplifting or unclear. That fits. Britney's friendship with you could feel different and special. Boy, howdy. I mean, I've never met this woman, but yes, it does. She could have a sense that you just get her. Do you see how ironic this is? You know what I mean? Like, you put it in like the context of like how we are in this situation currently in this lifetime. And I'm like, yeah, I get you that that's not you on your Instagram, but you know, asides. Possibly you're initiating changes that show Britney's new side to her personality. Yeah, you could say that. Or opening her eyes to new experiences. In this case, it's important for Britney to know she may not always be seeing you clearly. There's a pattern between you that could be distracting her from the practical responsibilities of, I guess, what, her enslavement? I don't fucking know. Like, sorry. I'm actually just reading this for the first time too. Like, I guess I was just talking about the title earlier. Shit, Jesus. She may be idealizing you as a friend and overlooking your flaws. I got tons. I feel like I've said enough on this fucking YouTube page. She probably just hasn't had access to the internet to watch all my videos. But Britney, if you listen to this one, I have flaws. Tons. The pattern is called uplifting or unclear. And I think that fits because, yeah, being part of this Britney Spears movement has been probably one of the most uplifting things to have ever happened to me in my life, honestly. And all the people that I've met, and everyone is so fucking nice, you know, except for WTFBN and fuck that bitch. No offense, WTF. No, fuck you. I hate you. Anyways, you know, you just gotta draw the line. Like, I'm really trying to like manifest good shit in my life, but like, you know, she pops up and like she makes all these videos about me, and I'm just like, woman, please, I have puppy now. I'm too tired to deal with this. But anyways, the pattern has got uplifting or unclear. The unclear part for me is it does feel unclear. Sometimes pursuing this, I have said vocally so many times that I'm not going to stop making videos because I have two thoughts. One is, this is a shit sandwich. And we're all in this together. So I'm not leaving if you're not leaving. Because loyalty be like that. Number two, as much as I don't want to make this sound like a whole good versus evil thing, even before I read about all this spirituality shit and like got all into this shit, I believe that when people don't speak up, evil prevails. If you don't look at what's in the dark and you ignore it, the light can never show. So I made a video about this a while ago. When I thought Britney Spears was on her Instagram, and I coded a message back. It's one that goes, hey, it's up to all the birds out there. You know, if you want some apple pie, it's really fucking strange. I don't, to this day, I'm pretty sure a bunch of people don't actually understand that video. They're like, the fuck is she saying? She sounds like a Britney Spears post, which means I did a good job, because if you can take the language, I found that the Britney Spears posts were a language. So what I did was I took what parts of the language I seemingly understood and I tried to say it back. You know, I try to reverse engineer that shit. I try to say, hola, ¿cómo estás? You know, but I probably came out like Peggy Hill from King of the Hill, where that bitch just be running her mouth being like, I know Spanish. I am a substitute teacher of the year for Spanish. I'm like, Peggy, shut the fuck up. You actually don't do good. And you lost that little girl. But if you watch King of the Hill, you know what I'm talking about. But, Yeah, it's unclear whether this is the right thing to be doing sometimes. You know, for a while, it felt not good to make content about her and to do the frame by frame. So I took a little bit of a segue and a break because I still want to help her. I still want to save her, but I'm like, I gotta figure. I'm one of those people that I'm not gonna give up. I'm just gonna go to the other door. There's gotta be a way in. There's gotta be a way to figure this out. And if you know, if first don't succeed, like Aaliyah said, try again. But no, I'm serious. Like I will wreck my head trying to figure out and try all the options because that's just how I operate. So I was not getting anywhere with the Britney Spears stuff because, like, how many times can I tell you it's not her? And like most of the videos, and they were wildly successful. The frame people still fucking love the frame by frames. If I wanted to be successful on YouTube, I would just do frame by frames all the fucking time because you guys fucking love the frame by frames. Everyone loves the frame by frames. I get more followers from the frame by frames. Those are all the ones that go viral. And that's like not enough for me, you know? Because then I feel like I would just be like, I don't know, that would to me would feel like I'm using her to get famous, and that's not what this is all about. The Britney Spears videos are incredibly fucking painful to make because when you put this much fucking time and this much fucking effort and you learn so much about this one fucking person that you've never met and you're probably never gonna meet and you're probably never gonna know if they're okay, it is all consuming and painful. And just like thinking about the things that have happened to her and thinking about what she must have been through and just thinking about her perspective is it's honestly heartbreaking. And I try my best to dissociate it and to just like talk about it very generally. And I make all these jokes to distance myself from it because if I were to be as introspective into it as I innately am, I could never make another video again. Then I think it's incredibly important because, like, sometimes I just hear so much blasphemy from fucking people being like, oh, Britney Spears looks crazy on her Instagram. I'm like, I need to make another frame by frame. The way I make frame by frames is I see a bunch of fucked up videos and I actually do look through them and frame by frame them and think, oh, maybe I'll make a video about this. And like most of them, I just get lazy. Like one of the ones with her in Mexico with Kate, that was some of the most fucked up shit I've ever seen. And I just didn't feel like it because I'm like, I have other matters to attend to. But, you know, usually someone says something stupid, like, no offense to BJ, you know, she'll be like, yeah, I'm worried about Britney Spears. And it's like, shut the fuck up, BJ. No, you're not. You don't even know if that's her on her Instagram. You're not going to say that, but you don't. So I get really fucking angry when people make the assertion that that's her, that's legitimately fucking her, and that you're worried for her. No, you're not. You don't even know that's her. You cannot be worried for someone that you're not even confirmed is there. So that's why a frame by frame will come. Somebody pisses me off because you know what? Nothing motivates me faster than anger, which I mean, I guess like in the whole like spiritual shit thing, like that's not great. But I'm like, whatever. I'm an Aries. Ugh. It's the only way I know how to operate right now. But I've never been anyone that identified with being fucking Aries. So sorry if that sounded pretentious. I'm like, if you know me, it'd be funny. But I don't know. I think it's good to keep shining a light because there's always new people tuning in for the first fucking time and they're like, what the fuck? And I get some of the nicest fucking comments. Like somebody said like they'd never even realized something was fucked up with Britney Spears till they saw my videos. And I'm like, that's so fucking nice to hear. Thank you so much. And I feel like the only reason I can do this shit is because I actually am not here for this shit. You know? Like when I was young, yeah, I wanted to be famous and you're like, oh, I want to go viral on like YouTube. And obviously in the middle, I was like, I actually don't think I want that. I want something else. And like those things didn't work out. And I'm like, all right, well, why not? To be fair, making the videos when I first started, again, they were just something to pass the time. The Britney Spears stuff I had been following ever since the end of the conservatorship because I thought that was fucked. Like the fact that it happened to her, like I was like knee deep. I was on Breathe Heavy for the first time. Never was a huge Britney Spears fan, but I was like the biggest Breathe Heavy person. Like I logged in every fucking day. I fucking loved it. I love the gossip. I love the fucking things. It's very sensory now, like censorship that I don't like it. And it became pretty blatant to me that Jordan Miller sold out and that The mods are also up his ass too, because you can't have a discussion about Britney Spears anymore. And honestly, I love fucking Breathe Heavy. They're so fucking funny. Like, no offense to the girlies on Reddit or the boys on Reddit too. They're not funny. And the Reddit's like, trauma does that. Yeah. Whereas the Breathe Heavy's like, slay, bitch, fuck Damian Lynn. I'm like, that's so fucking funny. And I love the energy here. So I was following the Britney Spears stuff for a long time. I always make the joke that, yeah, her posts were kind of strange. And I got in fights with my ex all the time. She was like, oh, Britney's like, you're Kanye, huh? You're never going to admit. I'm like, Britney has been through trauma. Okay, she gets a year of saying any fucked up thing she wants, getting into the headlines. And then after a year, we'll be like, I don't know, Britney. But then towards the end of that year, ironically, Britney Spears posted on her birthday a picture of Jamie Lynn, and I went, what the fuck? She hates that bitch. I hate that bitch. And I was like, that was the bat signal. That was Britney Spears being like, hey, SOS, SOS. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I haven't been Batman in a bit, but let me get my cape. I'm just kidding. I didn't think that. It was the video, though, of her in Mexico where it did look like she was on drugs. If you didn't realize AI, it feels like such a lifetime ago to be like, yeah, I didn't know that was AI. And I thought, like, in my head, she was not on drugs willingly. If she was on drugs, she would be either being put on drugs or she was being coerced in some way. And it's very evident, even before I even understood the concept of AI, the possibility of AI, and that deepfakes were real, that there was a narrative being performed and played for the masses that Britney Spears is unstable and Britney Spears needs to be put back in her conservatorship. It's like, if you just like writing and like shows, I think those are the first people to realize something's up with Britney Spears, because it doesn't follow the format of life. Life follows its own kind of offbeat rhythm. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird and it's chaotic, but it's also kind of predictable. But for something to be as lazily fucking strung together as the narrative around Britney Spears, it is quite honestly very like, no, that's not life. That is not naturally happening. That is somebody constructing this. It's kind of like, there's a moment sometimes when you realize that somebody has been gaslighting you and you go, were they fucking with me? And like, that's, I would say, the awakening, waking up to realizing that shit's not right on Britney Spears' page, waking up to realizing it's AI and deepfakes, and waking up to the mess that we find ourselves currently in this current society. I am recording this podcast right now, and I think it's amusing. But you can let me know in the comments if this one was like, bitch, I don't know what you were saying. This was going far left, far right, far left, far right. The majority of these podcasts, I actually do not heavily edit. I take out mostly the silences in between my thoughts. A lot of them are done in one shots. I do not refilm things. I do not have an agenda when I write this. That was the whole point of this fucking podcast. That's why I don't edit very much, because I'm like, no, I was not going to make something for you. You are privy to my thoughts as I'm having them. Because at that point, why didn't I just fucking sit down and like write out a video or like plan it well? Something like the original doll series, I'll listen to it, re-record it, listen to it, re-record it. I didn't like the way I said something. I could go deeper into that. I should have explained this more. But I don't do that for the podcast. So yeah, when they're all over the place, I apologize. Maybe my thoughts are just all over the place right now. Which, I mean, as a listener, I would be like, damn, her thoughts are over the place. This is such an interesting character study. But I don't know. I just thought it was trippy. So now we're caught up. We're back. I mean, I went way over long. I went like probably another 15 minutes past the things I was supposed to mention that I forgot to record earlier. But let's read the rest of it. If Britney's someone who is overly driven and hard on herself, which she is, this can be a really inspiring connection that opens her heart. But if she's already confused about who she is and lacks boundaries, this pattern could be problematic. If you take that in that way that she doesn't actually know who she is because she's being drugged up constantly, I'm hyper aware of the fact that my videos could be perceived wrong by her. Because if they're drugging her up and they're telling her lies, they're like, look at this Asian girl say this shit about you. But you know, when you know something in your bones is not the wrong thing to do. It's like, I think I'm like extremely fortunate. A lot of people have issues coming out, you know what I mean? Or coming to terms with their sexuality. Like they go through like whole fucking like spiritual shits and they're like, oh my God, I hated myself. And I'm like, I never had that problem. I just, I don't know. You love who you love. You like who you like. It doesn't change anything about you. It's just a preference. To me at least. So I feel incredibly lucky to not have to deal with the inner turmoil that I know most people deal with. You know, but it's because I follow the philosophy of how could something that feels so right to me be wrong? Now, given in the context in the wrong hands, like if this is like a pedophile's mentality, but I feel like I'm pretty even keeled and like I feel like it sounds so grandiose and like conceited to say, but I know my fucking morals. My morals are my morals, you know? And my morals are things that I respect in other people and all that shit. So what does it matter what X person says? Because I know my own code of conduct. I know what I want to live by. I don't give a fuck what they think. So I think that's why it did not bother me. My ex was actually extremely religious, so like she actually had some inner fucking turmoil, and I'm like, oh shit, that sucks. I mean, I was sweeter, obviously, but like, you know, I'm like, oh, would not want to be in her shoes. I mean, I'm coming from a Vietnamese family, so obviously it did not go down easy, you know what I mean? But like, I wasn't my own enemy, so that's why I don't get afraid. Or, you know, a lot of people come and be like, what if Britney's watching these videos? I'm like, at this point, this is beyond Britney Spears. This is hoping to fix it. And it would not matter whether or not I stopped making these videos, because at the end of the day, Britney Spears is still enslaved. It's still not here. It's still being, I don't know, like being humiliated constantly. And if she is offended, she's being drugged the fuck up and she's being told lies. I would rather do something than nothing, just because people are manipulating the situation. Because at the end of the day, the bigger picture matters. Maybe she won't see it now, but in my heart, I know I'm doing the right thing. And maybe hopefully one day she would see it too. You know what I mean? Like, how much gaslighting is that for you to stop doing something and speaking out about something that is blatantly fucking wrong because people are gaslighting her? So you're trying to, like, you know, compensate for her gaslighting so that she doesn't feel hurt. That's how they win. That's how this whole fucking situation happens. That's how we're in this weird spiritual fucking timeline mess that we're in. They've gaslit everyone and us so much that we are overcompensating for the gaslighting, already anticipating it being like, oh, well, they're going to gaslight us anyway, so we might as well just like make sure that we don't hurt her feelings. It's like, how are you ever going to win the game if you're always compensating or overcompensating for the other player? You're not going to win. You're going to stay in a loop, in a pattern, in a rut, in a cycle, in this timeline. If there's one fucking thing that I guarantee you from you following me and watching me and listening to this podcast, is we're gonna get the fuck out of this fucking timeline, okay? I don't know how the fuck we got here. I'm pretty positive that somewhere along the lines in 2016 or so, and this was just a crazy theory I had at first, but now I'm like, well, I don't know anymore. We pivoted and we are now in the space that we currently in, where everything is some fuck shit. COVID happened, nothing was ever the same again. You know what I mean? Before all these things happened, life was weird. Life was kind of like strange, but we collectively did not feel like it was fucked. You know what I mean? I believe that Crystal Claire said that 4 years ago she woke up, which was like, let's see, 2020. I think I could say, okay, we all have soul missions and shit, right? Something got severely fucked though, because I feel it in my bones. And like, you know, you just talk to anyone, like a regular person, they're just like, yeah, things have not been normal since COVID. Probably because COVID wasn't natural. When we feel something, we should trust it. It's intuition speaking to us. If you believe in psychic abilities, it's your third eye or your psychic abilities trying to fucking help you. The reason we all feel like something is off on her fucking Instagram, on the world, on the state of affairs, is because it is. It's so fucked up, but it is. And that does seem scary and it does seem overwhelming. But hey, listener, I got you. I'm not leaving you. I'm going to be here as long as you are going to be here. You want to listen to me fucking rant about this shit? We can commiserate together. And that's how humanity makes attempts and probably will persevere. I'm optimistic. If I wasn't optimistic, I would have like offed myself a long time ago when I read all this shit. But I genuinely believe that every day we do something, every day that you are not an asshole, every day that you still choose not to believe the narrative of Britney Spears, every day that you still try to stand up for her, every day that you do something nice for someone or have good thoughts. I do think these little things impact the world at large in a way that we will never ever be cognizant of. So people like to liken it as a test for whether or not you get into heaven. It's not a test, I don't believe. It's your own personal test because our actions and our thoughts will reverberate. Like, you know, I turn the reverb effect on my DJ set throughout time, throughout your timelines, because the way that consciousness works, which we'll go into a whole episode, is if you were to put a dot on your forehead, that dot would bleed through several layers of paper. Those are the different dimensions and the different levels of your consciousness. What we do matters in the world, in society, and if not, like that doesn't matter to you, it definitely matters for you because it will bleed through the timeline and the history of you. That's what I'm getting from like all this stuff I've been reading about reincarnation and stuff so far. Is that at this point, you probably have lived hundreds, thousands of lives. Some of the unexplainable fears, some of the unexplainable feelings and guilt you have is because of all the shit and the fuck shit you did back in some other lives. I mean, I haven't read this part yet, but I believe. Let me preface by saying the nicest thing that someone ever told me when my dog died and I was devastated was dogs don't live that long because they already know how to be good. It's true though. These are the most fucking pure-hearted animals in the fucking world. They love you. They don't hold shit against you. Like, you know, they're going to pick joy and happiness and love and all that shit and not hold on to shame. It's dogs. They're like, I just love you. It's just such a fucking pure expression of love. Like, you could be an asshole to your dog and your dog's still like, okay, but I still love you. And like when they do things, they don't do it maliciously. They're like, it's pretty plain on the face of what's happening. I was scared. I was nervous, blah, blah, blah. Humans, on the other hand, are so fucked up. Maybe you're not personally fucked up, but generally as like a kind, we are pretty fucked up. Like, I know people don't like it. They're like, only a few people are ruining it for the rest of us. I think because I'm so critical of myself, I'm critical of humanity. I'm critical because they're still part of us. They still represent us. Because if we were better as a society, that shit would not be coming into play. There are always going to be forces that are outside our fucking control. But everything mirrors each other. You know what I mean? Duality. Foils. The inverse exists because of what is on the other side, is what I think. Shit, where was I fucking going with this? Shit. Well, I don't actually want to re-listen to myself. Maybe I can figure it out. You know what, guys? I'm gonna have to re-listen to it because I'm like, wow, where did I go? I must be hungry. Right? I know where I'm going now. I think it's important to speak out. I think that we are in a weird time period where they have gaslit people and social engineered the society that we live in to believe that it's not okay to feel what you feel. It's not okay to think what you think. It's not okay to have another fucking like idea or expression outside of what is being narrated to you and you are parroting back. That is why our school system is so bad, because that's all they wanted us to do. They didn't want us to critically think. They just want you to parrot back, parrot back, parrot back what we want you to think. And I mean, it worked, but like, you kind of fucked around and found out people who are behind all this shit, because like, if you watch history, I mean, you just study history. There's always bad people. There's always people trying to enslave people throughout the mankind's history. But there's also someone who does not fucking back down. That's why there is always war and there is always conflict and there's always this divide, because that side hasn't won yet. That's where I'm at, optimistically. I mean, you wouldn't be putting up a fucking fight, I mean, the other side, if there was no fight to be had. So, when I get shadow banned, when I get more attacks on my videos, when I get a bunch of hate, I think I must be on the money. Let's keep going this way. That's why I think like I was made for this, because most people go into wanting to be a social media influencer because they want the validation, because they derive their fucking personal, like, their shit from that. And like, yeah, no, I get, if you ever want to see me be super neurotic, it's when I post something that I find genuinely funny and then I don't see likes like in the speed that I usually see them, because I know analytics very well, that I know when a video is doing well, and I'll be like, did they not find it funny? Am I not funny? Why didn't they like the video? I get real into my fucking head at that point. I become like Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, being like, okay, I am a good actor, but I feel like because it's not my main goal, the reason I started making these videos was to distract myself from all the pain I was fucking feeling originally. And then I went hard into this Britney Spears stuff because it felt fucked up. The first video, and it felt like a sign, like, this is what you gotta do. Because I don't remember the context exactly, but I just remember thinking, no one's talking about it, and this is such a fucked up situation. And like, it's like, when like the answer in class and you raise your hand. You don't want to raise your hand because you actually don't want to be seen. But nobody is getting the answer. You know the answer, and you see the teacher panicking, like, anybody? Does anybody know the answer? And you're like, oh, I want to fucking help the bitch out. And then you're like, but I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. And that is what happened. And it didn't go horribly. So here I am still making these videos, because you may not agree with me. You may not even fucking like me, but you may be motivated to make a video to tell me to fuck off. And that brings me the biggest smile on my face, because I feel like this side of society, even though we cannot get our shit together and we cannot get along, as long as we don't back the fuck down, as we have never done in history, everything's going to be all right. I think I had more to go on, but I had to need to feed my dogs and I need to eat. And I think I would like this podcast, but I can't tell, because like, they're my thoughts. Of course I fucking like them. But I am a little worried that it's a little long, and I'm a little worried that it's a little run on. But if you wanted to know how I think in real time, there it is. Oh yeah, there's also a lot of other stuff. So me and Brittany got golden, which I do remember seeing in a video once, being like, you guys, me and Brittany would get along. So I'm like, okay, I guess it was golden, but I don't remember the word golden, so I was kind of like skeeved off by that. So the biggest thing, they give you the biggest pattern first. That's like the most important. For my connection with Britney Spears, it says it's life-changing. Our strongest connection is that the pattern we share is empowering. Then, they get into some like nonsense because we've never met. They're like, you Britney want to spend as much time together as possible. I'm like, if we're going to count me going into her history and going and trying to fucking piece back her fucking life, then yeah, I want to spend as much time with her as possible. It's empowering to be around each other. You each have qualities that are the most supportive for the other person and who they're becoming. It made me feel like you're each exactly what the other person wants in a friend. It's harmonious and progressive connection. I like to interpret everything in the context of the situation it actually is. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to like pull something on my ass. So like putting this in the situation that we're currently in right now. Yeah, for me, this is personally, despite the fact I've never met her, an incredibly empowering connection. I mean, I didn't think people wanted to listen to my videos. And if you're still fucking here listening to this podcast, thank you. And two, I would have never even made a video that was this fucking long because I thought nobody cares what I think. Like, I get real fucking like into Harry Potter, be like, I'm just Harry, just normal, boring Harry. You know, when like Hagrid's like, you're Wizard Harry, and he's like, I'm not, I'm just plain fucking boring Harry. But like, I guess not. Um, I personally also felt affected by the Britney Spears story just because the more I read about her before I got into all this shit, I realized that we're actually quite similar. She's got a good heart. She's sweet. I understand this person. I know who this person is. So to hear those things happen to her by the people that were closest to her and her family and her inner circle, and to understand the pervasive loneliness that she felt, it resonated with me. So I wanted to know how the story ended. As you know, the story has only got more fucked up, and I've gotten like knee deep in this shit. And I'm like, this shit is fucked, you guys. Oh my God. But I think making these videos does something. It brings people aware. Maybe in a convoluted sense, they're like, I just listened to this bitch's podcast for the longest fucking time, but I then saw some other videos that were much more interesting. Whatever, I got you here, bitch. Gotcha. Psych. Just kidding. Yeah, the other patterns are motivating and grounding, friction, different expectations, different perspectives, support and trust, strong pull, expanding feelings, encouraging or aggravating, thrilling or uneasy, unique connection, open and vulnerable. It might feel like Brittany's bringing up painful issues that you'd rather not go into and bury. You might feel especially reactive towards her, but her influence has the potential to teach you something about yourself. By making you aware of where you're vulnerable, she's helping you heal a part of yourself that you've had difficulty addressing your own. My therapist lets me talk about Britney Spears now, probably because, yeah, there's been a lot of things that I've had to address by looking at her situation and, you know, things that, I mean, obviously give me some bias. By the way, this is how you guys should know that Kevin Wu is a fucking plant. On paper, he's supposed to be bigger into this Britney Spears shit than anyone else. He runs that fucking Instagram, Free Britney LA. He was the one that helped coordinate this. He basically helped free her with BJ. He had a fucking blog on his page called 31 Days of Wookman. Guess how many times Britney Spears popped up on his page? I think twice or once. And he was like, oh my God, my first Britney Spears concert was in 1998 and it was so cool. I was in the VIP seat. And then he meets some guy later on and I guess like they hook up and he's like, and then he remembered my Britney Spears story. And I thought that was so fucking telling. I do not even believe that I am as big or as involved in this Britney Spears stuff as that man should have been or what he claims to be. And I can't stop fucking talking about this shit, you guys. You know, like it's been a year and I still, this would be a big moment in my life. Like, I don't know if it's just because of transitions and stuff, but no, this is like if you were a nobody and you became famous for advocating for Britney Spears, like on the level that he became famous for. Like, first of all, you would talk about that. But second of all, you would talk about, for me personally, I think about her all the time. When you're investigating or you're looking or you're reading about someone's life, how do you not think about them all the time? How do you not wonder about them all the time? How do you not have these thoughts? That's why I'm terrible at responding to messages. But I hope you guys notice that when I do, I actually give you my full attention. And like, I'm like not like making these videos to just talk. I'll be like, that's so fucking interesting. And then I'll tell you all my fucking thoughts about it. And I'll tell you all my theories and be like, I agree, blah, 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 blah. Because this is actually something that it's on my mind. I'm making these videos because I am genuinely interested. I am genuinely curious. You ever watch a creator's video and you're like, they are just fucking pulling it out of their ass because they want views. You could tell by the way they comment. They're like, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then they basically just agree to everything. Even if they don't agree, they're like, I don't know about that, but I agree. You guys have to know that I mean everything I say because I get into fucking fights all the time. I'm like, I don't fucking agree with that. Okay, I'm gonna pin your fucking comment because I think you're so fucking dumb. And then people are like, why would you say? I'm like, because I'm human. I'm human. When I started making videos, I had talked to myself in my head and I was like, after all this therapy that we did, what are we going to do when we go online? And I said, I'm going to be unapologetically my fucking self. And if they don't like it, then it's not meant to be. And if they like it, then damn cool. And guess what, you guys? Damn cool. That's where we're at. I was with somebody who didn't like me to be certain ways sometimes. So it was important to me to give no fucking fucks. That's why I really like that Espresso song where he goes, I give a fucks? My give a fucks are on vacation. I love that line. But because if you're not being you, what's the fucking point? You know, I spent years being something that somebody else wanted me to be, whether that relationship or the growing up, being what I thought I needed to be, what I thought would make them happy. And it still didn't work out in my favor. So you put all that fucking effort to make other people happy at your expense and they were still not happy with you. That's the wake up call that, fuck it. I want to make me happy. So that's what we're doing. I think on paper, like, it looks like I'm going through a fucking hot mess, but like, I think this might be like real positive swing in the story of me. I don't know in like this lifetime or the story of all my consciousness, but I think in all the consciousness, I can't say about the other lives. I don't fucking know about them. Like, I have a sinking suspicion I was like some old white man in the 1920s because I have some weird fucking language. Sometimes I'm like, oh, shucks, thank you so much. Or the other day when I was like, oh, are you joshing with us? And people are like, joshing. I'm like, is that not common speak? And I just say a lot of weird shit like that. Like, I don't even know how I know this, but I would always be like, like when it, like, if someone is like acting like it's fancy, I'm like, hey, slow your roll. This ain't the Ritz-Carlton. That's not even a popular chain where I live. And all these things, I looked them up recently, they were all from the 1920s. I'm like, so it is the 1920s, white man. Because I have a feeling at some point I felt very confident to walk down streets and shit and unapologetically say my feelings. And then, like, maybe certain lifetimes later, they're like, you're going to be a woman. I'm like, oh, no, I love it. I honestly love it. I think women are funnier. I think like it's such an age of women. But at the same time, I was thinking something feels different because I'm being very like, here are my thoughts. And it's not being received well. I think the part that gets me is like, why is it not being received well? I'm like, that entitlement comes from somewhere. That is why I think that. But anyways. Fuck, I lost my train of thought again. I really gotta eat. You know what? I may not even fucking like edit this out because honestly, think about this. If I have to edit this out, that means I had to listen to however fucking long this fucking thing was, which I don't even have the timer on right now. I'm thinking, let me see. Fuck, I want to know. I think it's about 30 minutes. I guess this, because it's track one, it looked like it was 1 hour and 48 minutes. I'm like, well, how the fuck did I talk for that fucking long? I don't even remember that. Did I dissociate that whole thing? It's only been 48 minutes, which is still fucking long, but whatever. Some of you are like, I like your long form content. Here it is, bitch. I did it for you. I love you. Do you love me back? Yeah? No? Yes? Please tell me. Tell me why. Tell me what. Sorry. I'm weirder in these podcasts because I'm like, if you liked me enough to listen to my random musings before I even formulate them in video, you are an MVP and you're my favorite. And also, I can probably be as weird as fuck. And you'll be like, yeah, that seems about right for YC. And I'll be like, yep, I mean, the people who are still listening right now, you know what you got yourself fucking into, okay? Like, don't act so fucking brand new and be like, I didn't know she was that fucking weird. Fucking for real? You playing. But anyways, somebody, if that bitch comes back in the comments, I'm gonna get so fucking mad. Some girl was like, oh, says the girl with the blaccent. Bitch, I'm just fucking poor. This is literally how I grew up. This is how I naturally speak. The voice that I put on sometimes is the code switching. That is me getting the job interview. That is me being more fucking politically etiquette right, correct to the masses, okay? Like, how would you say that? Like, you're assuming at that point that I have grown up in a well-to-do family, and this is not how I naturally speak. I had to curb how I naturally speak. This voice came out at work one time, the way I speak, and my boss, like, he was like, I've never heard you talk like that. And I'm like, oh, you're still here. I'm sorry. The way he looked, he was like bewildered and kind of scared. I'm like, what is so wrong with being hood? Hmm? Hmm? I get so offended though, because it's like, this accent is because I grew up the way I grew up, where I grew up. You know? I'm not doing it to play to anyone because, have you noticed, who the fuck am I pandering to? Because I'm not famous. You know, like, I don't even know that'd be a demographic I'd want to pander to. And have you seen the Britney Spears analytics and community? No fucking offense to anyone. Britney Spears, my analytics have always intrigued me since the first day I started. It is now becoming more men, but it was 90% women, 90% white women. We are getting more racist as of late. So I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, the masses. Because I'm like, how come people like my sister are not watching my videos? Huh? My sister's like, I don't know if it pops up, it pops up. I'm like, God damn it, sister. Anyways. So you know what I mean? Like, I'm not pandering. Because it's not even going to them. I think it's down 15% men though. So nice men, we've made it. Like, we're still not there. That's why I think I was laughing that somebody had a problem with the DJ Kramer, because he was very like sexist and goes, hello my angels. And I was like, well, no, I get it, because it is predominantly women. Like, you don't realize it as the viewer, but from the standpoint of the creator, in the beginning I never saw men. I actually love it now. Like, I'm like, oh, that's a man, another man. Like, because you can't tell sometimes with the avatars and stuff. And it's also funny because I also say bro, because that's just the way I speak. I'm like, oh, bro, I don't fucking know. And a bunch of girls will be like, I'm not a bro. And I'm like, everyone's a bro. This is non-gender. It's like, you guys. That's why I've been using bro and girlies indiscriminately. And I feel like I have to make statements sometimes because I don't want the men to be like, well, they should never address us. They should keep calling us the girlies, because you are the girlies, you know, like you guys. But, you know, that's a whole nother fucking video. You know what? We're just going to keep ranting till the hour's up, because I bet you were like, she doesn't really actually do long form content, like long form content, because like these podcasts are bullshit. Like, it's like 2 minutes and it's done. And I'm like, well, because they were succinct and they were to the thought. And today, I don't know why. I had lots of thoughts. I thought actually I wasn't going to make a video about Britney Spears, but I guess I had a lot on my mind. And doing this helps me clear it out, helps me unwind. You know, it's so funny. So I was watching this manifesting video about like, oh, like this lady was like saying like, if you don't want that to manifest, just say delete, delete, delete. What? I'm not sure entirely if that's actually like true, but like whatever. Like, let's just take her for her word, right? And she said, you know, you just say delete, delete, delete. I don't want that in the collective consciousness, and I don't want that to happen something in the universe. And I'm like, it's interesting. Because when I made the Britney Spears videos, it was imperative that I made them as I discovered them. I don't know why. Like, I think I didn't want myself to back out. You know, and if you think about the implications of what you say and how it could affect you, and like, could you not, you know, obviously nothing happened, thank God. But like, yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know. You can, you know, cross fingers, you know, but, a lot of people, and I think this is because they primed us to be like this. We talk ourselves out of things. You're not that good. You're not going to get the job. I don't know. It's not going to go well. We talk so negatively about ourselves. So I feel like I sometimes fuck myself over because I know myself, and I'm like, it's got to go out now. You got to make a video now. You got to just publish it. And if you're crazy, they'll tell you you're crazy, and it'll just be done. So I don't know if you've like ever noticed, but the videos that went viral, except for the deep fake Tom video, because I had been planning and like preparing that one. But like, I think the Project Rose video, the one where I ate the sandwich and people kept giving me shit, and the video where I freaked out for 10 minutes, I felt like I can't have that information in me alone. Like, it's got to be out there. I got to put it on the universe because it's happening. And they need to know. I can't be the only one that knows this. So when she said that thing about manifesting, I was like, that's intriguing. So I don't know. Just on an unconscious level, I was like, if I don't make a video, I won't say this. And this information will never be discovered. And this information has to be out there. It has to be out and out of my hands so that I am not burdened by it, like being the only one that knows it. Because then that becomes a dirty little secret, yeah? But when it's out there, it's knowledge, it's information, it's things we share. That's also, that's not a great joke. I'm like, that's also what groomers say. Like, we share the secret now. Okay, but for the girlies that get it, they get it. If you've been hanging with me for this long, you know that I meant that joke. And if it's a fucked up joke, I'm sorry. Like, I can see where comedians get in trouble in stand-up comedy because sometimes on the fly I'll make a joke because word association or patterns, and then I'll be like, "Ooh, fucking shouldn't have said that." I like this show before called "I'm Sorry." It was written by a comedian lady, Andrea Savage, I think, and the premise of the show is that she gets herself into a lot of fucking like incidents because sometimes she doesn't know when to not say the joke or she takes the joke too far. I've had that happen a lot. That's why the show's called "I'm Sorry," because then she'll be like, "I'm sorry." Because there's a part where everyone's laughing and then you keep going and like then everyone gives you a look like the fuck and you're like, did I take it too far? My bad, my bad. So if I took it too far today with that last joke or this whole podcast, drop a comment, let me know. And obviously the social rejection will just fucking resonate in me forever. And I'll be like, I'm never gonna do that again. That was so badly received. Or I got no comments and it was so badly received. I'm never gonna do that again. It's amusing to me the things that get comments. Sometimes things that I put very little effort or things that I just do for my own fucking personal joy get the most comments. And then sometimes when I'm like, this shit is fire, and then nothing happens, I'm like, what? And I get incredibly self-conscious sometimes. Like I think the Kate Middleton video, like the last one, which I mean, it was supposed to be a part in a longer series, but I'm like, whatever. What if I just like post it as his own video and see how it does? And then I thought people were like mad. They're like, bitch, you gave us a bullshit video. Like this is like a section of a full video. And I'm like, they're right and they know. And like I actually had a whole like, oh, I don't think I'm funny. Am I out of touch? Is it not correct? I think that the generative AI thing was an interesting point to bring up, but maybe it's like a two, I don't know. Yeah, I get way in my head. That video actually did like surprisingly well, actually. And I was like giving myself so much grief. I was like, you lost it. You lost it. You lost their respect now too. Nobody respects you. It actually did better in views than other videos. So I'm like, shit, I really fucking talk myself out of things. So that's what this podcast and these videos are for. If you ever like are like, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Nah, YC's crazy too. So let's commiserate together because it feels better that way, you know? But you're not crazy. It's not nothing when a bunch of other people seeing the same something that you're seeing. That's all I'm thinking. All right, until next time. It is 1:58 and I'm like, damn, I did it. An hour, bitch. Peace out. I can't stay 2 more minutes. I'm hungry now. Love you all. Bye.